Welcome to my channel. So let's look at Africa today and how things are changing. There's a window of change happening in Africa, and I think most European countries in the West and even America, they are yet to adapt. But it seems that China and Russia are easily adapting and gaining and filling the gap. Because the most Western European countries, which are the colonialists, they're still having the old colonial mentality, whereby they thought they have a right to African resources at a cheap price. But if you can remember, a few months ago, there was a UN summit and even the BRICS summit, where most African countries, they said that the days of selling raw minerals from Africa is over, and that Africa will now be selling processed minerals at a better price. So many European countries and even the America, they thought that African countries were just joking, as usual. They can be manipulated and they can still sell their minerals at a cheap and processed condition. But that is not the case. Things are changing. Now, Elon Musk, who is the owner of Tesla, he went to Nigeria. Nigeria discovered lithium reserves. Now, lithium is a very important mineral which is used to produce rechargeable electric car batteries and even solar panels. So Elon Musk wanted to at least have the mining rights of this lithium. As usual, as they always used to do, they could buy the raw and processed lithium or even raw gold from Africa at a cheap price. But Nigeria told him that they can't sell it to him. They can't sell to him the raw lithium. But he has to build a lithium processing plant in Nigeria. Elon Musk refused because of the costs. So he left. But China came to Nigeria, and China agreed to the conditions. And in fact, China agreed to mine and even to build a processing plant in Nigeria. So this lithium is now called white gold, because in this world of electric vehicles, most of the vehicle batteries, which are electric, which are rechargeable, they are built with lithium. Even solar panels and even laptops, they are built with lithium. So Nigeria discovered a big reserve of lithium, even Zimbabwe and other countries. So previously, European countries, they used to come and get this raw lithium, raw and processed lithium or even raw gold at a cheap price, because they're just rocks. But Africa's eyes have opened. I know African countries, they want to process these minerals in their own soil and then sell processed minerals at a market price. So Elon Musk was not prepared to build a plant. So you have to look for another place where you can buy and process lithium. So lithium is very important and is very precious in this today's world, because solar panels and even electric car batteries, they are made of lithium. So when Elon Musk left, China came, and China has agreed to build a lithium mining and processing plant in Kaduna. Now Kaduna is in northern Nigeria, where they'll mine and then they'll process the lithium there, so that Nigeria can now be exporting processed lithium at a better price and they'll be benefiting. So this window of change has caught many Europeans with surprise. Zimbabwe also is another lithium country. Even them, they follow the example of Nigeria. Actually, Zimbabwe, they banned any exportation of raw lithium. Now, even the Elon Musk went there, and I think they agreed to sell to him the raw lithium at a much high price. So because of these conditions by these African countries, the price of lithium has really gone up. So even Elon Musk says that he'll be forced to build a refining plant. So the conditions have to be met. So because most of these European countries and even Elon Musk, they are wavering, China comes in. So even Zimbabwe, China has come in, and China, again, they have agreed to build a lithium processing plant in Zimbabwe. Look at that. So China will build one in Nigeria and even Zimbabwe. So European countries are losing and China is reaping big in this case. So of course, by building this mining plant in Zimbabwe, they'll get some bargains easily. So they're very wise. So in other words, European countries, even America, they have to be flexible like China and Russia. Otherwise, they lose big because we are living in a multipolar world. The world is changing. If you can't be flexible, you lose very important source of minerals. Because Africa is becoming bold. The sleeping giant is waking up. Then we go to gold. So the same thing that's happening in lithium is happening in gold. African countries with gold, even them, they are becoming more bold. Instead of selling unprocessed gold, they have banned any exportation of unprocessed gold. Countries like Guinea, Mali, Burkina Faso, they have refused to sell unprocessed gold. Even uranium, Niger has refused to sell unprocessed uranium, and they want to build a plant there. Now, which countries are helping these African countries? For gold, it is Russia. You see, for lithium, it was China. But for gold, it's Russia. So Russia has signed a deal with Mali to build a gold processing plant in Mali, to process gold in Mali, and to sell gold bars, processed gold, at a better price. The same with Burkina Faso. Even Burkina Faso also, Russia has agreed to build a plant in Burkina Faso to process gold, so that instead of selling raw gold, rocks, which is very cheap, these countries, Mali and Burkina Faso, they'll be selling processed gold. Processed gold bars, as you can see there. So you have the processing plant and gold bars. So Africa is changing. And it seems most of Europe, they are still caught unawares. But while they're wavering, as you can see, Russia and China are leaping big. So when Russia is rushing to build a plant for gold in Mali and Burkina Faso, of course they'll get bargains. They'll be able to access this gold very easily. And therefore Russia will build their gold reserves. And that will boost their currency. So it seems like most of the European countries, they're not aware that the world is becoming multipolar. And Russia, they're building their gold reserves. They're flexible. China also, they're flexible. So these two countries, China and Russia, which are BRICS, they are benefiting from this new wave, new wind of change in Africa. So America and Western Europe, they'd better change and be flexible like Russia and China. Otherwise, they'll lose. They'll keep on losing. So I'm happy that Africa is no longer sleeping. And I hope that this wind of change will apply in every commodity produced in Africa. Not just minerals, but even agriculture. Ghana and Ivory Coast, their cocoa, instead of exporting raw cocoa, they should build cocoa processing plant in their countries to sell chocolate. Countries like Kenya and Ethiopia, which produce coffee, they must also build and be selling processed coffee at a better price. If they can't get a market for this, then they can sell these products within Africa and other BRICS countries that will accept. So the world is becoming more multipolar. And those countries which are not adapting, they'll be left behind. America and Western Europe, they'll be left behind. So the world is changing. The world always changes. You see, Russia, they are helping Mali and Burkina Faso to build gold processing plants, but also Russia is helping many countries in Africa, like Uganda, Ethiopia, Egypt, I don't know, Senegal, and others, to build nuclear power plants. So Russia and China, they are placing themselves in a very good position in Africa to partner with these countries and even to get access to Africa's resources. So they're very wise. You see, in the old model, European countries could come and get those resources even by force or even at a throwaway price because they were the colonial masters. But China and Russia, they're coming to partner to build these plants, and therefore they'll get those resources. So they're really clever, and they have adapted, and they'll benefit also, and even Africans also will benefit. Because when they build these gold plants in Burkina Faso and Mali, these gold plants will create jobs for the people. And then the country will benefit by selling this processed gold. The country will benefit more, much more, instead of selling those raw gold rocks, which is very cheap. So at the end, Africa will benefit much more. And even Russia and China will benefit even much more. But unfortunately for the European countries, they lose their source of minerals, raw materials. They'll have to pay high price, or even they'll have to be forced to buy the processed gold at a high price. So they better change and adapt to the window of change. So that's all for today. And about Israel and Palestine, I'm happy that there's a ceasefire currently, and we have aid entering Gaza and other areas. But today, let's just talk about this window of change in Africa. Let me see your comments in the comment section. And otherwise, thank you very much.